Hi everybody. So today we are going to play around with these little bubble circles, whatever they're called. Stick around, let's try it out. All right, so I've been seeing this up on YouTube all over the place. People making these beautiful bubbles by dipping little circular shapes into paint and then kind of painting around it. So what we're going to do is try our own version. I'm just going to start grabbing some paint colors and putting them on this metal butcher tray, as we call it. So we've got some pinkish red. That's the best red that I have on this palette. And then we're going to do some orange here. So just really scrub your paint so you can get a good mixture off of there. If you just spray your paints down and then lightly dip into it, you're getting mostly water. So see how I'm really scrubbing that pigment, grabbing a lot of paint there on my brush. And I'm adding some warm colors together first, and then we're going to do some cool colors. So I'm going to grab some green and really get some good green on the palette. The reason why I'm not mixing things together, the warms and the cools, is because they will form muddy colors, and we do not want that. We want to keep our colors vibrant and bright and happy. Okay, I've got some purple that I'm putting on my palette. Sorry guys, it's off camera, but it's there. You can see a tiny bit of it. Okay, so we have our warm colors and then our cool colors, and we're just gonna try our hand at this. I'm gonna take these little bowls that I have. They're actually measuring cups, and I purchased them specifically from this beautiful online store that I can't remember now, Natural Life, I think it's called. We're just gonna dip in. Okay, so clearly, let's scoot it around a little bit. You know what? Let's just go ahead and paint the edges. So I've seen different artists do this on YouTube, and I wasn't sure, because I have very shallow paint on this pan, I wasn't sure if it's going to work out. So we're just going to experiment. This is the first time I've ever tried this. So I'm going to take some water, some clean water, and I'm just going to start painting around that circle just to activate the paint and spread it out. And let's see how this goes. My water's a little muddy there just because my brush had some pigment still on it. Okay. So we're just painting that in. It is supposed to look like a bubble, and it's kind of cute. All right, the edges are a little raggedy, but that's okay. Let's remove a little bit of paint here. All right, so I might do a variety of dipping. Let's try these cool colors now and see how that goes. And I think I'm going to just take, I like that. That worked out really well. I think I'm going to take just a combination of the warm colors and cool colors and doing these large and small shapes. So we're just painting over this with water to activate that paint and spread it out. I'm liking how this looks. So do you guys think that it looks like bubbles? We're trying really hard to see if we can get this to work. I'm going to keep dipping and seeing if that works out. Okay, not a lot of paint on there, just scraping it around. And that's the nice thing about art projects like this. Sometimes you're just making it up as you go. I wanted to do something fun like this because I thought this would be a really great activity for kids, but I'm really enjoying this as well. So it's not just something that little kids would get a kick out of, and it's very simple. Now mine's looking a little wonky. Some of the colors are starting to muddy just because they're kind of oozing together in the butcher tray. But you know what? I'm having a great time, and so I'm going to continue to remind myself of that. And if you, as you're doing this, find your brain just kind of going to weird places, remind yourself this is supposed to be fun. I'm always saying this, repeating it on all of my videos, because I want you guys to get in the habit of checking your negative narratives at the door. Those narratives come in, they creep in without permission, and it completely sucks the joy out of anything we're doing. All right, I really scraped this one around on the pan, guys. Let's just see how this turns out. So I'm liking what's happening here with the warm colors, and they seem to be stamping really well and then stamping onto the paper. So I'm getting a good enough amount of paint. I like this a lot. So if you're having a trouble when you're doing these bubbles, just try to kind of scrape around, not just stamping down on the paint, but maybe just twisting your cup around. And on this one, I got a lot of paint on one edge and the other edge, not so much. So we're just taking our wet brush and we're just going to blend it all out. And in case anyone is interested in the brushes I'm using today, these are all by Paulina Bright. She was very kind to send them to me. And there is a link in the description if you wanted to purchase them, and you can get a little bit of a discount as well. So thank you for checking that out. These brushes are fantastic and they're beautiful. All right, so I'm just randomly putting down these shapes, and every single bubble is different. I'm liking that a lot. So if I were to paint these edges myself, um, instead of just doing one color, you could do 2 or 3 or 4, and then just have that nice dimension there. I'm also liking that my bubbles are kind of wonky. I like it and then I don't. I'm just, like I told you, this is not going to look exactly like some of the other bubble tutorials that you've seen out there. I'm just kind of doing my own thing here today. Look at that. The paint is spreading into the other wet one. If you don't want spreading, you could simply wait until your bubble is dry, the one on the bottom, and then add bubbles over the top. But I think it's kind of fun. And this is a very kind of abstract type of painting that you could do with a kiddo or with another adult. And I'm liking how this one is just, each one is kind of spreading into the other. And tell me below, what do you think about this particular composition? Do you feel like these look like bubbles? Do you feel like they look just more like abstract circles? If you guys are enjoying this video, please give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my videos in the future. And also, I do teach watercolor on Patreon. The link is in the description if you're interested in that. All right, I'd say a few more bubbles over the top, and then we'll be done for the day. I just having so much fun with this, I don't even want to stop. So, like I said, all the bubbles are different. This one is completely blue. That's what I decided to paint it, but you can do ones that have many different colors. Those are also pretty. I also like kind of leaving some white space in the middle of the bubble, not filling in everything, even with water, because at this point, your water is going to be tinted with all the other colors. And so just leaving a little bit of white space is kind of fun. Or you can fill the whole thing in, do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. I'm really having fun just kind of layering up these circle shapes, one on top of the other. Ay, 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 look at that. A hair that I cannot remove. This is what happens, people, when you have long hair. It just is part of the process. So I've been going blue here over the top and just making sure that we have a lot of these. It's giving it a really fun 3D look for this composition today. So I'm curious, though, if you've ever painted bubbles like this before. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you have any ideas of how I could use this method to do something different, definitely let me know your thoughts. I always love hearing ideas because sometimes I run out and you all have fantastic thoughts. Sometimes you've even tried some of these things. Sometimes you've had failures and we can all learn from each other. So definitely hit me up in the comments if you have one. All right, I think I'm probably going to call it quits with this bubble here. Right now, we just have a hodgepodge of bubbles and layered up. This was such a fun and relaxing activity. I hope you try it. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys soon on the next video.